Hey girl.
Okay. Hi, I'm Panda, and this is...
Angela.
How long have you known me?
17 whole years.
How long have we been best friends?
17 years.
What are we going to talk about today?
You tell me.
Today we're going to be talking about, in my case, telling my friends about my sexuality, and for you, maybe telling your friends for the first time how you identify. My whole existence, I knew that I was boy crazy. Everybody knew that I was boy crazy. So when it got to the time where I was attracted to something that wasn't a male, I was very like, what? What's going on? I didn't want to tell anybody at the time because I didn't think it was necessarily true to my character, if that makes sense. I just thought it was kind of like, not necessarily a phase, I was just kind of like, whatever. But then there was a person in real life that I started having pretty dang strong feelings about. One of my friends I didn't really have to tell because her and the person that I liked were in the same group of friends. She just sort of figured it out by herself what was going on, and so I never really had that nervousness of being like, so, by the way, I like this person. She was just kind of like, hey, you like this person. And it wasn't a shock to her at all. I think she had made a joke about it at first, and then I was like, no, I like this person. She was like, okay, on to the next one. So as my feelings kind of developed more and more, I felt it was really difficult because my friends would always be like, so what's new in the love life? What's new with these boys? And I didn't have anything with a boy. I had something progressing in my love life, but I didn't have anything to be like, oh yeah, this boy and I thought about it and I was like, you know what, I just need to tell them. She sadly was in the second batch of people to find out. She's a little butthurt about.
I'm really pissed off.
I don't know why. The first two people I told, I don't even remember telling them. When did I tell you? No, we were in my room, I remember that.
No, we were at my house. We were at my house and we were making those hats.
I thought I told you and Katie in my room.
No,
and then
you told Katie first. You told Katie first. You told both of them before me.
Really?
Yeah, we were making hats on my back porch and blowing bubbles. And then all three of you guys were like, it's time to tell her.
I forgot.
I was last.
I was nervous on telling one of them because she was brought up very Christian, and I thought that that would have something to do with how she reacted. At first I was worried because I thought that maybe they'd feel uncomfortable changing around me or wearing bathing suits around me now, but that's not obviously the case because I've seen her naked more times now than I have ever before. Do you still feel uncomfortable around me?
I do not feel uncomfortable.
She's not my type. No offense, you're beautiful, but not into you. So I've told all them, and their reactions were just whatever, which I don't know what I was expecting. What was your reaction?
I kind of remember that I didn't really have too much of a reaction. I just kind of remember being like, oh, okay. And, like, I think I asked one or two questions, like...
You asked who it was, right?
Did you
know
that?
You hadn't met her, right?
I'd never met her, and I asked you who she was and why I'd never met her, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It was more like best friend things. So why wouldn't you tell me right away? And, like, why haven't I met her? Not be mean.
So you didn't feel weird or anything?
Never felt weird. I think maybe once, like, that first day, it crossed my mind, like, well, hold on. If all of a sudden you're saying that you're attracted to girls, and I'm a girl.
Yeah.
But
I think that's only natural, though.
I think that's only natural, and it was only, like... And it wasn't that you made me feel uncomfortable. It was like, well, I don't really know how to have a conversation with you about this, because it's not something that's in my life, and I don't have any experience with it, so I didn't really know how to, like, openly talk.
Were you surprised because I was always been so boy crazy?
I mean, in a small way, yeah. But...
I think you guys asked if I was bisexual.
Mm-hmm. And that was, I think...
When I said I was pansexual?
I don't think you used that word. I think you said that you don't consider yourself bisexual and you don't really consider yourself anything. That was the first time that I'd ever heard that from anyone. That was definitely the first time that you said, well, I don't think about gender. I don't think you said I don't have a sexuality, and I don't think you said pansexual. I think you said I don't think about gender. When I see people, I don't see gender.
I was saying that already back then.
I think so.
5 years ago, I told you.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's nuts.
God, we're getting old. Finn.
God. We're basically Emery and Fionn.
Hi, Finn.
This is how lucky I am to have her as my best friend. She's completely supportive of the Working Title Project, which I think is cool. Everyone in my life is so far.
Fabulous.
She loves it.
I love it.
But when I said, go watch my intro, she... surprise, like an hour later, messaged me on Facebook being like, I just watched everyone's intros and now I'm watching like 100 videos of trans guys and transgendered beings, and I just was like, that's really fucking cool. Like, to have someone in your life that I can tell her anything and there's never going to be any judgment. And you went home and told your boyfriend.
Yeah.
And don't you think that's so cool?
I'm curious to find out other people's reactions from their best friends or other friends, because just my whole life I've been a super open person, and I know that not everyone is. And again, because I'm such an open person, I accept that, and I understand how other people would have different reactions. They're not for me, but I understand them. So I'm kind of curious other people's reactions. Say me and you had been best friends for whatever it was before.
And that ruined our friendship.
Now it's 17 years. But if it was back when it was 12 years we'd been best friends and you told me that and it ruined our friendship, like, how, I can't imagine. How would someone deal with that?
Yeah, so if that's happened to you, feel free to make a video response or something. We are so curious. You'll be watching this. I know you will be. Angela will be watching this.
And Alex will be watching too.
And I'm really curious and excited to see who will contribute to this video.
Yep.
Get some good responses out there.
Me too.
Bye!
Hello everyone, it's Finn here, and this is my best friend Simone.
Hi.
I'm gesturing towards your boobs, I'm sorry about that. Like, this is Simone, and the reason why she's in this video is because I thought that it would be good, because, like, one, I came out to you as being trans, but then two...
I was the first friend that you came out to.
Yeah. I'm the best, I'm the favourite. No, but also I thought it'd be really good having you in on the conversation because of the fact that you've had experience of coming out yourself to friends.
Oh yes.
You came out to me. And I wasn't the first.
No, he had swine flu, so...
Oh, fuck, guy.
Dick.
Wasn't it my fault? I was fucking dying.
Left me on my birthday.
No, can we just say to people if we're going to do this? I fucking went out for her birthday when I had swine flu and then I had to leave. And no one even got me a taxi. I just had to leave. I couldn't walk, I was so ill.
I was having an identity crisis. I wasn't concerned with your illness.
Fuck you. I'm trying to think if I've ever come out to someone and who's my friend and it's went badly. I mean, when I came out as a lesbian, I lost friends. I don't know if it was kind of like we just drifted apart because of differences.
Yeah,
it's kind of fucked up that they would see that as a fundamental difference, that they couldn't go on with me because of it.
I think sometimes there is a fundamental difference though, because like when I came out, I had an awareness. I like started to question things, like started not to just accept what was put in front of me.
Yeah. And
like question like my sexuality and like not just that, but like lots of other kind of things like being a woman and how I related to the world and stuff like that. Then it became quite difficult to be friends because then it's just a different mindset. It's just a different way of actually living in the world. Right, well, why don't you just tell your story of how you came out to your friends about when you came out as trans? Go.
Fuck's sake. Fucking starving, my belly kitchen.
She went to get some ham.
Just sit here and eat ham in front of the camera.
You eat ham all the time.
Yeah, but not in front of the camera. Why are you telling people? My experience with coming out to you a lot was it couldn't have went any better.
Yeah.
I was like so lucky. It wasn't just that I told you something that I was doing and it was part of my life. It was the fact that, I mean, one of the things that's so terrifying is because of how it's going to affect everyone else. But that was also one of the most comforting things when I did come out to you, was because you didn't just let it be so that it's something that was my personal thing. It was the fact that it now became, it's like, no, that we're all dealing with this together.
It was quite exciting. No, honestly though.
What about your experience of coming out to me?
Well, I came out on my 19th birthday. I was already like bi, but I didn't really come out as being bi. I just started to be attracted to girls at a really young age, and then it just didn't seem like something that I should have to announce or whatever. It just kind of happened like that, and then maybe 4 years later I started like to be quite concerned by the fact that I didn't feel attracted to men anymore. And then I remember we used to have loads of discussions about it all the time because I felt like I needed to make a decision or needed to find out some kind of truth behind the way that I was feeling or something. Yeah. You guys all had like very different opinions about it for ages.
Yeah. Before I came out as being trans, I was quite transphobic, and I didn't believe in bisexuality. I was so ignorant, and obviously because there was so much wrapped up in my own insecurity, that I just thought you had to be one or the other, and it was very binary, and you had to conform and all this shit. So when I met you and you said you were bi, I obviously accepted it and stuff like that. But in the back of my head, I was always thinking, this is a transitional thing. You know, it's either a phase or you're transitioning into becoming a lesbian. But because there was no sort of...
No waiting, one way or the other.
Yeah, because you were, to me, the way it looked, it was you were right bang in the middle. You felt the same way about guys as you did about girls. It then developed into... I had this thing where I was like, Simone, you're the first person that's ever made me see bisexuality as a valid identity, and you know.
And I think I fucked up.
You took it all away from me.
When I came out as being a lesbian, it's still like, I think it's very limiting to put that label on yourself, because then it's think it really stopped me from being able to explore it any further after that.
Well, yeah, the thing I was just thinking about there is that it's, I think for a lot of people, when they come out to their friends, it's like once you've come out, that's the end point.
Yeah.
It's like you're done now, that's
yeah.
it. I've kind of seen us coming out to each other with shit has always been a starting point, and it's like, I think through us coming out, it's encouraged each other to think more about themselves and to like grow and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's definitely so important to have like friends that are open to like the fluidity of sexuality and gender and stuff like that, because otherwise I think it's quite understandable that a lot of people feel like they have to stop at a certain point in their development.
Yeah.
Because their friends are maybe not so open to these issues, like don't talk about it as much or don't understand.
Yeah, I think our friendship has now got to the point where it's like we trust each other enough and we can see that we're all like-minded enough that there is no need for a sort of sit down, come out thing, because we're always so open with each other and talking about shit that's in our heads. It's like whenever you hear the topic of coming out, you always think of coming out as gay. But there's all these other things that you can come out as, and just purely in terms of sexuality, like like people are pansexual, people are fucking bisexual, people are queer, people are polysexual, people are like, you know what I mean? Or like when Panda was saying in her video about how she had to come out as, you know, liking someone other than a guy, but kind of coming out as having no label.
Mm-hmm.
But I think with us, we done the initial coming out with the gay thing or the trans thing, but after that point, we've kind of evolved now where all of the other stuff that you sort of have to come out with, it's now just became part of an ongoing conversation. Yeah,
it's like coming out is just like opening the door to continual dialogue on the subject.
Right. So we should probably go now. Yeah.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, and I should probably say, I definitely like people, if you have friends who are willing, and even if you don't and you just want to talk yourself, then you should make video responses, because I think that, like, this whole conversation is really interesting, different experiences of it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think? Because like when you think of like coming out, you think that it's just a standard you're telling your pals, that's that. But there must be 1,000,001 different ways that people have kind of went about it. We would love to hear from you, so get in touch. Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I have many different coming out experiences. My first experience with telling my friends was crazy. It was crazy. I was 12. I had my first experience with a female. And what I told my friends is not what she told her friends. We'll just put it that way. So, me coming out as bisexual, because that's what we did when we were in middle school, was so traumatizing. I'm over it now, but it was, woof. I don't think my friends had a problem with it. There's one person in particular who didn't have a problem with it at first, but as they have grown up, their parents have had more of an influence on them religiously, and we're no longer in contact. She's absolutely terrified of me. But when I came out as a child, basically, my friends were like, whatever, it was kind of edgy. But also, a lot of people thought that I was lying, because I wasn't supposed to say anything. I almost said I didn't know better, but I knew better. But it was pretty traumatizing because in my middle school, because I was out as bisexual and very not ashamed of it, there was a lot of the D word, dyke, and that continued through high school. But that's not really my friends. I mean, my friends have always been pretty supportive of dating within the same gender area. But coming out as trans was a lot more difficult for a lot more of my friends and family. The main concern with the people who had difficulties with me being trans was that I was going to change as a person. Like, I think it was pretty obvious to them that I was a lesbian. When I told my mom that I was dating a female, she said, and then she eventually told me that she knew before I did that I was going to swing that way because I was a boy growing up. And now that she's had some time to make peace with me being trans, she now goes, oh yeah, well, I'm exactly the same as I've always been. I'm just more of that. I have a video somewhere on YouTube called Is It Okay That I'm Trans Now? The general reaction that bothered me the most, I don't get it anymore, was, oh wow, I didn't see that coming. Because that just made me feel more like they saw me as 100% female. When growing up, I never saw myself as gendered, really. I mean, my drama teacher in high school gave me the best compliment in my life during my freshman year when he said, gosh, Quincy, you are so androgynous. I looked up the word and I fell in love with it. But yeah, I mean, I have a little bit of guilt about having accepting friends. I got a comment yesterday or the day before, a young trans guy being like, you say that you're never alone, but that's not true. A lot of us are completely alone. And that's not true because we're here, right? If you can get on YouTube, you're not alone. There's a huge community. Anyway, I am really lucky. It's my ego that gets hurt when somebody says, God, I didn't see that coming. It's not them shunning me. There's only one person in my life who I'm not friends with anymore since coming out as trans. And it was someone who I saw as a sibling. And I really looked up to this person. And when I got sober, they were a huge support system for me. When I came out, they had a really hard time with pronouns and name, even though my name didn't really change. Like, they wouldn't even say M, they kept saying Emily. And, you know, they thanked me for telling them. They were one of the first people I told. I was like, hey, you know, I've been identifying as genderqueer. Well, I'm a boy. And they were like, no. What? No. But they'd never been exposed to anything like that before. And I don't think they really wanted to be exposed to it. I think that they're content, obviously not having me in their life, and just being in their bubble, which is their loss, I guess. But obviously it still bothers me a little bit. It's weird. Like, obviously I've changed my Facebook name, and I'm out on Facebook. I'm out. I'm as out as it gets. You know, Google me or even my old name and hi. But people will add me on Facebook that I didn't come out to, and then not say anything. This just happened to me last week. Somebody added me on Facebook who I used to be really close friends with. We didn't speak for a while, and then they added me on Facebook last week. Didn't say anything, and I'm like, this is awkward. I mean, it's not, because we're not having any kind of dialogue, but it makes me wonder. I don't necessarily care what they think about me, but I do wonder. I should probably send her a message and see if she's surprised. When I came out to my best guy friend, Terry, he was like, okay, cool, because I almost call you he all the time. I mean, the people who knew me the best, including my mom and my immediate family, have just sort of been like, oh, now that they've gotten used to it, now that they've been around me, they're like, oh yeah, it's just M. I'm very privileged, I guess, in that sense. But I don't know. So yeah. Thanks for watching. If you have any coming out experiences that you'd like to share with us here at the Working Title Project, give us comments, give us video responses, write us stories on our Tumblr, WorkingTitleProject.tumblr.com, and we would love to engage with you. Give us more. And if you would like to be a contributor to the Working Title Project here on the channel, send us a video response to the very first video on the channel, the introduction. We are looking for more contributors. Love you.
Let's go out back and plant a